What up, and welcome to a new L.M.S.V. Yo, what up, and welcome to a new L.M.S.V. Season 2, Episode 10, which is pretty crazy seeing as that means we're at least halfway through Season 2 already of L.M.S.V, which, yeah, is crazy as I said. I really like that we've come so far already, but holy shit, we're in the final stretch of Season 2 and then it's gonna enter into Season 3 and, it's definitely a bit bonkers. And especially if you watched my previous L.M.S.V showcase, you know kinda which minifigures are gonna be shown over the next couple of showcases. But, there will still be, because he'll be that character, random one, that character, random one, that character, random one. So that's basically how Season 2 is gonna end up finishing. And then in Season 3, I don't know, depending on how many there are of that one particular minifigure, again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, and yes, I'm being very vague, but I'll put a link to my previous showcase down in the description below. It's definitely a must watch. It's kind of informative in regards to L.M.S.V and also just a good time. So yeah, but apart from that, that's definitely how the end of Season 2 is gonna go, and then in Season 3, we'll see, it all depends on how many of that one particular one there are. As I said in that video, I have all of them, but it's not like I know off of the dome, literally the amount of variants. But regardless, for this one, we got another video game accurate custom Qniverse minifigure. And that's of course of my favorite George Lucas Star Wars, because yes, you have George Lucas Star Wars, Qniverse Star Wars, Disney Star Wars, so 3. And yes, I do see the expanded universe as part of George Lucas, and the Qniverse, aka moi, includes a lot of that, while also looking a bit towards the Disney stuff and being like, what could I use? What is interesting and doesn't mess too much with what either George has come up with or yours truly. Apart from that, when it comes to George Lucas Star Wars, Anakin Skywalker is of course my favorite character, as you might have already noticed, seeing as I've showcased him plenty of times and I will continue to do so, because again, favorite character from George Lucas Star Wars. And yeah, we got another video game accurate one, and I'm definitely putting the video game aspect of video game accurate into this one, because this is of course the video game accurate version of Anakin Skywalker from Episode 2 from LEGO Star Wars, the video game. And I love that design. I don't know, there's something so innocent and pure about Anakin. I mean, you could also say raw, because he really had both sides, of the Force really flowing through him, because he had his darkness because he kept having those nightmares of his mom and what he then went on to do to the Tusken Raiders, which was, whoa. The women and the children too. Oh my god. But anyway, regardless, he was full of hatred, anger, but also passion, as we clearly saw with Padme. And yeah, he was in such a raw place in Episode 2 when it came to his power, and I absolutely loved it. Yes, he was very impulsive, but then again, if you look at how old he was in Episode 2, kinda makes sense, especially if you're around my age as well and you reflect on how you were when you were that age. You're kinda like, yeah, it's not that weird, the way he acted. Not necessarily when it comes to the Tusken Raiders, that's a bit extreme, but being filled with emotions and hormones and having many passions, and not saying that all dies off as you get older. You either tap into it, as I have with the Qniverse and some other stuff, or you don't, and you just, I don't know, fall in line, become one of the many sheep of this world. I'm not, so as you can clearly tell. So if standing out was a thing, it was definitely my thing as I got older. So, but yeah, for those who have been watching my content for years, first of all, thank you so much. But yeah, you already know, I went through a Viking phase with my hair, so full-blown Thor to now this. which is just whatever, you know, either rock it loose or in a bun or in a ponytail or I do a Qui-Gon Jinn / Geralt from The Witcher and just do it halfway, and that's pretty fucking awesome in my opinion. That might be my favorite one to rock. But regardless, for this one, we're gonna showcase my Qniverse video game accurate episode 2 Anakin Skywalker. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at Anakin right now. And here he is, and as you can see, episode 2 video game accurate Anakin looks absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it wasn't the, the toughest job ever, and of course I'll put a link to my Patreon page where you will find the build kit for this custom minifigure if you want to create it for yourself. I bought all the parts on Firestar Toys, and as per usual, as you can always see in my description as well, if you want to get 10% off of any order, definitely don't forget to use my code FSHSQ1 and you get a 10% discount off of any order you might place on there. They got new stuff when it comes to the Ahsoka series. They got classic stuff such as the classic version of this minifigure, which I've also showcased. Again, link to that showcase down in the description below as well. But yeah, man, the build kit wasn't out of this world difficult because it's a very straightforward custom minifigure, and personally, I just really like the simplicity of it, you know what I mean? Like, again, yeah, the hair might be a tint too orangey, but then again, one, it's also the lighting in my room, and two, I don't know, he did have a unique hair color in that movie, but it wasn't necessarily as ginger as this hairpiece may make it appear to be. But then again, I mean, look at Obi-Wan Kenobi in Lego. The amount of times they've made him a full-blown ginger. I mean, yeah, he has a slightly ginger-esque tint to his hair, but when you look at especially the Clone Wars Obi-Wan, you're like, what the f, bro? Okay then, like, I'm not hating on it, but it's like 100% accurate, it might be more accurate to the Clone Wars than the movies, but good lord, man. But then again, if that's the biggest issue you might have with this minifigure or the Clone Wars Obi-Wan minifigures, you got a good life, But yeah, I will for sure make a Qniverse episode 3 Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin, and I'm already working on them. And I don't know if you noticed this, but back at the intro, I actually had 2 customs I'm working on in the background on my detail, where you see Dragonite as well. But yeah, those are just, for later down the line. For one, when I have more money again, mostly when it comes to YouTube. And 2, when the parts are actually in stock. Because wouldn't you know it, the parts for this man, whether it's episode 1, 2, or 3, or Clone Wars, or as Darth Vader, are out of stock a lot of times. So timing has to be a thing and the money has to be a thing. And I'm working on both, I guess. I'm like a sharpshooter, you know what I'm saying? So wait for the opportune moment and then can headshot that. Anyway, regardless of all that, like I said, I love the simplicity of this minifigure. Now, for those with a keen eye, you may have noticed that I've actually chosen to give Anakin Luke Skywalker's head from one of the classic, old school Lego Star Wars sets. Because, yeah, it might look a bit derpy, but it's the most accurate you will get apart from the classic head. In my opinion, is definitely closer to how he appeared in the video game, but there hasn't been a light flesh, as far as the Toys likes to use as the term for it, or just a Caucasian version of the yellow head. So yeah, this will have to suffice, and personally I really like it. Yes, it might be a bit derpy, but if you look at the video game cutscenes or the complete saga cutscenes for episode 2, this man looks a bit derpy, but I don't know, I don't mind. Like, when I see this, and especially when you see the end screen when you have officially unlocked this custom minifigure and you see him in the character roster, it is oozing that video game vibe, and that's exactly what I was going for. But yeah, man, I just love the point where Anakin is at when it comes to his Jedi journey, so to speak. He can basically go any direction. What I mean by that is he can definitely become even more pure if he's able to actually deal with his emotions and connections to others. Or he could go the other route, which is the one he did take, and unfortunately resulted in him eventually, based on some very poor decisions, but understandable decisions, become Darth Vader. But again, this was a point where it could have gone any direction. So yeah, I don't fully recall whether or not it was Palpatine who put the visions of Shmi dying in Anakin's head. But then again, I don't know if you know this, but the Coruscant Jedi Temple literally contains a Sith temple in it. Like, below. It's pretty safe to say they were fucked from the start. You know, like, how the hell did you not deal with that? You know, like, why didn't you just destroy it? Or take everything that was important and you could learn from and just destroy the rest? Like, why would you build a Jedi temple on top of a Sith temple? Where's the logic in that? Like, oh, we can overcome that darkness. Oh, really? Really? Wanna fucking bet? Like, oh my god, like, what the hell? I don't know. It's weird. Some of the decisions that the Jedi have made over the many decades have been very questionable at best. So, but regardless, again, I love Anakin in this look from episode 2. I was not one of those people that hated him when I first saw the movies when I was a kid. The moment I saw Hayden Christensen as Anakin, I was like, yes, you know, that's my boy. So, I mean, sure, they could have waited until the original actor from episode 1 was old enough, but let's be real, they would have to wait a pretty long time, and time is money, baby. So, and back then, when all the good movies came out, I'm not saying that the modern ones are all shit and garbage, there are still some good ones. Looking at you, Spider-Man No Way Home. But regardless, and Avatar 2, regardless of all that, I just love this minifigure, loved playing as him, loved the video game. So yeah, of course I just had to make him in this look, and as you can see, he still has both flesh hands or normal hands, no robotic hands. I think it could be pretty dope to actually make a Anakin like shortly post episode 2, but then again, I already have something in the works when it comes to the Anakin shift from episode 2 to episode 3, so we're good. That's definitely gonna be a future showcase, so if you want to see that and you aren't subscribed yet, go for it. So, but anyway, yeah, just like I said, there's not a lot to this minifigure, but I just had to make him because, oh my god, I just love him. So yeah, but that does leave me with a question for you. Were you one of those people that actually disliked Hayden when you first saw him in the prequels, or did you actually like him from the very beginning, such as yours truly? Or didn't you really care about him until you saw him in the Ahsoka series? I don't know, like, you know, I was just happy to see him in anything Star Wars related again. You know, that's a dub for me. That doesn't mean that I binge watched the Ahsoka series or the Kenobi series. I just went to YouTube and looked up Hayden Christensen's scenes, and especially his training scenes with Obi-Wan in the Kenobi series. My goodness, that was a sight to behold, man. And that was this boy right here. So I really love it. But I'm also actually quite surprised by the 2.0 version of this minifigure, as in the latest version to date, which is kind of sad to admit, but it is the latest version to date. But it gave this man a widow's peak. What the fuck is up with that? This man had a great many things, but he does not have the same hairline as V.G.A. I don't know what the hell Lego was thinking with that one, but like, Anakin, he doesn't have the fucking V.G.A. hairstyle. What the hell? I don't know why they want to disrespect my boy like that, but fuck off. So... Anyway, all of that aside, I just had to make this a showcase for this series because, again, I just love Anakin. I love episode 2. I love Anakin in episode 2. And yeah, even the Tusken Raider moment, because it is understandable to a certain extent. But anyway, if you liked this showcase, definitely don't forget to hit that like button. Hopefully you liked it. This was just supposed to be a good time, so hopefully I succeeded in that, making you feel like you were having a good time. Hopefully I succeeded in that, as I stated before. And I think that's pretty much all there is to say. So, from Video Game Accurate Episode 2, Anakin Skywalker, as well as from yours truly, I hope you had an awesome day. I wish you an awesome day. And see you guys and girls in the next video. Now let's go to the character roster, because you have now officially unlocked Video Game Accurate Episode 2, Anakin Skywalker.